How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all having an amazing day. In this video, I'm going to go over all of the characters, buffs, nerfs, and neutral changes that are coming out tomorrow in Multiversus. There is a ton of information to go over here, and I'm just gonna read it out as it's presented to me. If this video helps you out at all, then help me out by hitting that like button, but let's go ahead and cut this plug and get right into it. Starting off with Arya and apparently the assassin passive, they have removed the 5% additional damage taken. I'm assuming this is gonna apply to all the assassins, so this is all that you'll hear about it, but they will no longer take 5% additional damage. They've nerfed her air/ground up special. They've reverted it to the early access version of the up special. They were finding that skill and counterplay was being removed from Arya with the addition of the vacuuming effect, making follow-ups nearly always true. This revert will give opponents the ability to affect the outcome by use of knockback influence KBI, and Arya air control to compensate for the opponent's KBI. Neutral change to her air ground up special. They fixed a bug that caused Arya's dash on hit to stop working after Taz turns her into a chicken. And another nerf to her air ground neutral special. They have fixed an issue with long lingering hitboxes on Arya's stolen face neutral special. Moving on to Batman, they say that they are watching Batman closely. The projectile systems update is going to make it so all projectiles will properly destroy the Batarang. So we want to see how this plays out for a bit before further adjustments. The goal is to make a Batman Batarang have an understandable counterplay. So for a neutral change with the air down special, the knockback angle is changed to send victims more horizontally. And with the air side attack, another neutral change, apparently when landing the attack, it will now allow carrying movement momentum earlier, whatever that means. Moving on to a buff grounded down special, they have fixed a bug that was preventing projectile sidestep from dodging all projectiles. And they've also buffed the ground side attack, where they've fixed a bug that was causing the first jab to be delayed, going into jab 2 when playing online. Moving on to Bugs Bunny, they say that Bugs Bunny is still a bit too safe and unpunishable due to land canceling recovery. The new active frames adjustment and global hurtbox updates will hopefully make Bugs Bunny's up air attack more manageable from the opponent's side. So a neutral change to the air side special, the rocket is now classified as a heavy projectile. The purple effect has been added to indicate armor break property. A neutral change to the air up special, the rocket now classified as a heavy projectile with the purple effect still, and the cooldown attack no longer consumes all aerial special uses. Coming in, we got a bunch of nerfs. So starting off with the air ground neutral special, the safe now classified as heavy projectile, and the barriers and buffs that block projectiles now deactivate the safe hitbox until the safe is hit again. Moving on to the air down attack, the recovery land cancel window has been delayed 2 frames. The air side attack, the recovery land cancel window has been delayed 3 frames. The air up attack hitbox active frames have been reduced. The ground neutral attack frame window to cancel into another ground neutral attack has been delayed. His weight has been lowered to 50 from 55, and his coming through dock signature perk hitbox active duration is reduced from 0.25 to 0.5 seconds. Moving on to Finn. Again with the assassin passive, removing the 5% damage, but they've also increased the starting gold that Finn gets to 200 from 100. And for air ground neutral special, coming in with a buff, they fixed an issue where the shockwave from high-fiving an ally would not hit enemies. Air up special adjusted the vacuum box to more consistently combo into the final hit, and the ground down attack increased the minimum distance traveled. They've also adjusted the vacuum hitbox to more consistently combo into the final hit on that one as well. Moving on to Garnet, she's got a few buffs coming in. Her air ground neutral special, when Garnet bubbles a projectile, the projectile will not be able to hit herself or allies until the bubble expires. For her air ground side special, they've increased the projectile speed to 2.2 thousand up from 2,000, and the recovery frames have been decreased to allow follow-up combos from the hit. And for her air side attack 1 on hit cancel window moved earlier. This is gonna make it to where side attack 1 combos better into the side attack 2. Moving into Harley, you know, my favorite character in the game still, she is of course getting the assassin passive 5% damage removed, and she's having her movement speed increased to 1875 up from 1825. I don't know if this is gonna make a huge change, but it's nice to see nonetheless. Moving on to Iron Giant. Unfortunately, they have yet to delete this character, but they have nerfed him some more. So let's go ahead and look at these. For his passive, Rage Mode Gray Health is reduced to 15 from 30. His air up attack has had its damage reduced to 5 up from 6. The air ground neutral special ability and ammo cooldowns are now static cooldowns. Static cooldowns are not affected by cooldown reduction perks or buffs. Consuming an item or Iron Giant's art will still grant 1 bolt. The ability cooldown has been increased to 25 seconds up from 23 seconds. For his air neutral attack, they have increased the whiff recovery. Moving on to Jake, the air ground neutral special. If Jake eats multiple opponents, he will spit them all out on the first spit. Spitting no longer counts towards the air special count, and Jake can aerial spit even if he has exhausted his air specials. The spit opponents are now properly classified as projectiles, and weakened stacks apply on hit have been reduced to 2 from 5. A nerf to his air ground down special is the attack duration has been reduced to 3 seconds from the infinite duration. He can no longer hit the same enemy multiple times. Neutral change to his air side attack, the whiff recovery has been increased by 6 frames. The land cancel window has been delayed to match the increased whiff recovery, and on hit cancel window has been moved to 2 frames earlier. They say that this should give the opponent more of a window to punish Jake on a whiffed attack, while also giving Jake more of an opportunity to successfully follow up from a hit attack. And another neutral nerf to his air down attack, the damage has been reduced on the first 2 hits. The third hit ignite duration has been reduced to 0.5 seconds from 1 second. Moving on to LeBron, in a neutral fix to his air down attack, the knockback angle has been pushed to be more horizontal. A buff coming into his basketball, enemies can no longer hit the basketball. The basketball will always bounce back when blocked by projectile blocking effects. And another buff to his ball ground neutral special, the ground pass projectile speed has been increased. Another buff to the no ball air side attack, the hitbox active frame window has been moved 3 frames earlier. And another buff to the ball ground up attack, where the hitbox active frame window has been moved earlier as well. They say that on hit cancel window moved earlier to allow for more reliable combo follow-ups. And finally, a buff to the ball ground down attack, the cancel window has been moved earlier. Moving on to Morty, a player that I have been thoroughly enjoying playing. He has gotten a buff to his passive. Ally grenade passive has now been enabled, so I am not entirely sure what this means. He might be able to pass off nades to his allies again. Moving on to the air ground neutral special, coming in with a neutral change. The ammo cooldown has been increased to 13 seconds from 12. The knockback scaling has been increased from 23 to 25. And grenades can now be knocked back by ally projectiles. Enemy projectiles are going to destroy the grenades. His air ground down special, they fixed an issue where Morty or his ally would be randomly pulled back to the save point. This is now going to only trigger when the ally is near the blast zone. And moving on to a buff to his air side special, the portal aim reticle now only shows for the Morty player in online matches. That's really good, so they can't predict where you're going with that anymore. A buff to the ground side special coming in, it's saying that it more consistently hits projectiles. A neutral fix to the air ground neutral attack coming in. They've said that they fixed an issue where the blaster could spawn 2 shots when fired. The knockback direction is now based on projectile velocity, and the knockback scaling has been increased. His ground up attack has a neutral fix coming in where they fixed an issue where the blaster could spawn 2 shots when fired. The knockback direction is now based on projectile velocity, and the knockback scaling has been increased. Okay, I thought I just had a stroke there. Nope, those are literally the same thing, basically. They've also buffed the ground side attack. The full jab combo now connects more reliably, and the extra Fleeb Juice signature perk now cleans up Tom and Jerry's mousetrap, and it now cleans up Garnet's electric zone. Ooh, wow. That might be a lit extra perk to be holding on, especially if you're going up against a Garnet who's dropping those electric zones. That makes her super overpowered. Moving on to Reindog, they've buffed the air ground neutral attack. Enemies can no longer hit the spit projectile. They've buffed the air up attack. The vacuum knockback applied to the first hit helps the 2 hits chain together more reliably. And they've nerfed the ground neutral attack, making it to where holding down and dodging no longer cancels into the next attack as quickly to prevent extremely rapid firing of the projectile attack. We're almost done here. Moving on to Shaggy has a neutral nerf coming into his Rage Air Ground Down special. The Super Sandwich is now classified as a heavy projectile. Another neutral change coming into the Air Ground side special. A bug fix correctly branches to other attacks on hit for non-rage side specials. A nerf to his ground down attack. Armor removed from the attack and knockback angle pushed to be more horizontal. Oh, we should just remove armor from all attacks, shouldn't we? That's a beautiful one. Moving on to a nerf to his weight. They've lowered it to 68 from 76. That is a huge nerf coming in. That is a huge weight loss coming in for Shaggy. And they've also nerfed the ground up special. The jump cancel in ground up air specials is delayed to prevent a true combo into air up specials because it was killing at unexpectedly low damage. Oh, that feels good. Now all they need to do is nerf the distance that Shaggy travels on his sidekick, and we are really going to be cooking when it comes to Shaggy. Moving on to Steven Universe, they've nerfed the air ground up special. After spawning 2 shields with his up special, Steven must land on a solid ground before he can spawn more shields with his up special. Moving on to Superman, his air up special, they fixed a bug where Superman could grab enemies from far away as they bounced off the walls, and they've given it a later startup on active hit frames. Moving on to the air side special, another neutral fix. They fixed a bug where Superman could grab enemies from far away as they bounced off of walls. The flight speed has also been reduced after Superman grabs an enemy, so it won't be able to allow him to carry enemies as far. That's a really good nerf. They've also nerfed the air ground down special. Now it has an ammo cooldown and Superman spawns with 2 ammo. 1 new ammo returns every 8 seconds. This is to prevent heat vision camping where Superman would only use this attack over and over. They've nerfed the ground down attack. Hitbox active frames have been reduced, and they've nerfed the ground up attack. The hitbox has been adjusted so the attack no longer hits behind him. Moving on to Taz, he has some neutral fixes coming into his skins. The Beach Bomber Taz, his hat has been fixed to look more like his profile icon. Another neutral fix coming into his passive, the max tasty stacks increased from 18 from 16. The chicken movement speed is reduced to 1200 from 1550. The chicken's maximum health is reduced to 15 from 30, and the chicken duration is reduced to 6 seconds from 8 seconds. A buff coming into Taz's air ground neutral special. Taz can now eat and spit Bugs' safe, Bugs' rocket, and Shaggy's super sandwich. Eating an enemy in the air now applies 2 weakened stacks. A buff to his air ground side special on cooldown. Tornado duration is increased to 0.45 seconds up from 0.25 seconds, and his air ground down special, the recovery frames decreased to allow better combo follow-ups. The air ground up special allows canceling to dodge and to jump and to be able to escape while in the air. A neutral change coming into his Iron Stomach signature perk. The anvil is now classified as a heavy projectile. They've also fixed issues with Taz's item throw animation. A nerf coming into the I gotta get in there signature perk. Taz's ally can now only enter the dog pile 1 time per use. Moving on to Tom and Jerry's had a neutral change to his air ground up special. Jerry no longer hits enemies immediately after the rocket explodes. A nerf coming into Jerry all around. Jerry is now classified as a heavy projectile while in flight. He no longer refreshes his cooldown if he dies while attached to an ally, and it's reduced the cork ammo to 2 from 3. The cork ammo while attached to an ally uncharged, obviously. The rest of these are nerfs to his, starting off with his air side attack. They've added 3 frames of recovery, and the land cancel window has been delayed 7 frames. His air down attack, they've added 3 frames of recovery, and his land cancel window has been delayed by 3 frames. The ground side attack, his jab 1 hitbox active frame window has been moved 2 frames later, and his dynamite split signature perk now splits dynamite sticks, and they now detonate whenever they hit terrain. Moving on to Velma, a neutral nerf to her passive. Instead of calling the police, Velma now solves the mystery and calls the Mystery Incorporated gang and the Mystery Machine to take the bad guys away. That makes more sense. A nerf to her air up special no longer applies weakened stacks on hit. A nerf to the air ground neutral attack no longer heals Velma when she hits an ally with a speech bubble. The movement speed, her movement speed, has been reduced to 2100 from 2200, and her weight has been reduced to 52 from 55. Finally, this is gonna take up its own video right here, but finally coming up to Wonder Woman. She's got a neutral change coming to her air ground neutral special. The lasso is no longer classified as a projectile, and she's also got a neutral change coming to her ground down attack, which no longer breaks projectiles while it is charging. Her weight has been reduced to 71 from 76, and her movement speed has been reduced to 2,225 from 2,250. So, we finally finished reading off all of the character buffs and nerfs. There was so many there. Let me know down in the comments what happened to your main and if you are still going to main them. I guess that's all up in the air with the hitbox changes as well. But that is all of the information that I have to go over in this video. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.